With all the very latest from around the world and here at home now, it's the ITV News.
Thousands turn out for a cancelled vigil in memory of murdered Sarah Everard. The crowds defy lockdown with their call for the streets to be made safe. Earlier, the Duchess of Cambridge was among those peacefully paying their respects as the suspect appeared in court.
When something like this actually happens, it kind of asks you, what stops it from being me? What stops it from being anyone that I love?
Also on the programme, after the revelations, the donations, the Sussexes pledged to charities working on mental health issues and racism. Wales stay on track for a Grand Slam in the Six Nations and...
It's go, 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 go! Fielder gets away and Schumacher gets away. Better!
The voice of Formula One, Murray Walker, falls silent at the age of 97.
This is ITV News with Romilly Weeks.
Good evening. Her murder has provoked an outpouring of grief and furious questions about the safety of women and girls on our streets. And tonight, thousands refused to stay at home, gathering on London's Clapham Common to remember Sarah Everard. It was in defiance of a ban on mass gatherings, and the police response to that has been described by some as heavy-handed. Earlier, Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge, arrived unannounced to pay her respects quietly. Close to the last spot Sarah was seen, now a sea of flowers. All after the police officer charged with her kidnap and murder appeared in court for the first time. Frankie McCamley reports.
Emotions tonight boiled over in a vigil that had been cancelled.
Police, get back!
Many felt the need to come here anyway. As police stepped in, threatening fines.
You're in breach of COVID, OK? I've asked you to leave.
Some had to be led away. Earlier today, much calmer scenes in London as the community where Sarah lived came together to reflect. Amongst the grief, there were questions being asked.
When something like this actually happens, it kind of asks you, what stops it from being me? What stops it from being anyone that I love?
Why did you feel you had to come down here today?
I mean, we're just horrified. I think we can all identify with her and her family, and it's just unimaginable.
Do you think men have a bigger responsibility to play here?
I think we all have a part to play, but yeah, I'm sure us as men can do a lot better to keep people safe.
Clearly moved by recent events, the Duchess of Cambridge privately paid her respects before quickly leaving the park. There's been a steady stream of people here in Clapham Common coming to pay their respects throughout the day. Some knew Sarah Everard, many didn't. Her death has not only shocked this community, but caused a debate across the country. Many now questioning, how safe is a woman walking home by herself in the evening? Vigils were cancelled across the country, but in York, a small tribute. And roses in Kent with a mark of respect. This morning, arriving into court, the police officer charged with Sarah's kidnap and murder. The court heard the 33-year-old was found in a large builder's bag. She was identified using dental records. Slumped over listening, Wayne Cousins sat with a red mark on his forehead after being found in his cell with head injuries. He confirmed his identity and was remanded in custody before appearing at the Old Bailey next week. Frankie McCamley, ITV News.
And our political correspondent Hannah Miller is here. Hannah, there are concerns tonight about the policing of that vigil in London.
Yes, real questions for the Met Police tonight, Romilly, about their handling of exactly what happened, but also about how it got this far. They had chosen not to work with an organised group of people who had promised to do a socially distanced vigil and instead asked people to stay away. Sadiq Khan, as Police and Crime Commissioner, is supposed to hold the police accountable. He described the scenes from Clapham Common tonight as unacceptable and said he's urgently seeking an explanation. He said the police have a responsibility to enforce COVID laws, but from images I've seen, it's clear the response was at times neither appropriate nor proportionate. The Home Secretary, Priti Patel, has reiterated very similar thoughts. She says the footage is upsetting. She wants a full report from the Metropolitan Police. She added that her thoughts remain with Sarah's family and friends at what is a very, very difficult time. The leader of the Labour Party has described the scenes as deeply disturbing. We've heard from other MPs saying that they are shocking. It really is coming in from all different parties tonight. And the Prime Minister, before all this had kicked off, he said, "I will do everything I can to make sure the streets are safe and to ensure women and girls do not face harassment or abuse." What we've seen tonight just shows how strong the strength of feeling is to make sure that that does come to an end.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Hannah. The first tentative steps to easing the latest COVID lockdown in Wales began today. Stay at home has been replaced with stay local, and some outdoor meetings and sports are allowed again. Outdoor sports such as golf and tennis can be played for the first time in weeks. It comes as 5,500 new coronavirus cases were confirmed across the UK. A further 121 people died within 28 days of testing positive. And first doses of the vaccine are well past 23 million. Amid reports the pace of the programme could see it completed earlier than planned. Charities supported some of those who face some of the issues raised in the Duke and Duchess of Sussex recent TV interview are to get new support from the couple. Harry and Meghan are donating to charities fighting for mental health support, diversity in the media and against racism. Lewis Warner has more.
In the wake of their blockbuster Oprah interview on Monday, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have given their backing to 5 new charitable organisations working on causes close to their hearts. The royal couple will be donating money from their Archwell Foundation to mental health charities and anti-racism organisations in the US and the UK.
And I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
There was a conversation with you about Archie's skin tone.
That conversation I'm never going to share.
It was clear from their interview that lack of mental health support and alleged racism formed part of their decision to step back from frontline royal life. By supporting these organisations, the couple will be hoping to help others who have also struggled. One of the 5 charities that will get an undisclosed amount of cash works to improve diversity within the media.
Our values are ones of compassion, action, and we feel that those align really well with what the Archwell Foundation is looking to do.
The charity Mind, which supported Meghan's openness about her struggles with mental health issues, will also receive funding. The full impact of the Sussexes' interview is yet to be seen, but it's clear they intend to use their newfound freedom to act on the issues they feel strongly about. Lewis Warner, ITV News.
We'll have all the fallout from the Sussexes' TV interview in a special programme. Harry and Meghan, The Week That Shook the Royals, is hosted by our royal editor, Chris Shipp, tomorrow night at 10:15. And you can watch or indeed re-watch the full interview anytime on the ITV Hub. In rugby's Six Nations, Wales are just one victory away from another Grand Slam after a comprehensive win in Italy. They also have England to thank for demolishing French hopes of a clean slate in the competition. With a last-minute victory at Twickenham, Chris Scudder has the action.
France hadn't won at Twickenham for 16 years, but it took them 1 minute to score a try through scrum half Dupont. 2 defeats already, England did not want a third and responded quickly.
Watson, all on his own.
But after years in the wilderness, this was a fresh France. The fabled French flair of old, and one of the tries of the season restored the lead.
And Penaud will score.
The second half was tighter, and Jalabert's boot kept France in front. England strained for a way back into the game. And their efforts were rewarded. 4 minutes left on the clock, and Maro Itoje forced his way over for the decisive score.
Maro Itoje has scored the try, but
A sweet victory, 23-20, and French hopes of the Grand Slam ruined on English soil. Even if Rome wasn't built in a day, Italy's Six Nations record is atrocious. They've lost every game for 6 years, and a 31st defeat in a row was inevitable when Wales scored 2 early tries. It took Wales less than half an hour to score 4 tries and a bonus point. Hooker Ken Owens barely had to extend himself for 2 of them. 3 more tries in the second half brought a runaway victory, Wales' biggest winning margin in Rome, and if they can repeat the trick in Paris, another Grand Slam will be theirs. Chris Scudder, ITV News.
And finally, the voice of Formula One, Murray Walker, died today at the age of 97. To millions of fans, both here and around the world, the much-loved TV commentator embodied the very spirit of motor racing. Such was his passion. He was once described as talking like a man whose trousers were on fire. Mark McQuillan looks back at his long and illustrious career.
Few voices are as distinctive or as synonymous with a specific sport. Murray Walker was the voice of Formula One to millions, and little wonder after a broadcasting career spanning more than 50 years. He commentated on many memorable races and effortlessly encapsulated the emotion of iconic moments.
And wins the Japanese Grand Prix, and I've got to stop because I've got a lump in my throat.
Like British driver Damon Hill's solitary World Championship triumph. Hill is among those to have paid tribute on social media, saying, "Thanks for so much, the legend will never die." While Jenson Button added, Murray was the voice of F1 for so many years, he put his heart and soul into commentating. And Lewis Hamilton said, "You made the sport so much more exciting and captivating, you will never be forgotten." That excitement came from his knowledge, energy, and occasional mishaps.
3 lights, 4 lights, 5 laps. Pause. Go, go.
And further proof that Walker didn't take himself too seriously came when he teamed up with Hill for this advert.
Hill's going for it, and he's spun.
Having followed his father's passion for motorsport, he competed, then commentated, rising to the very top with the BBC and ITV before bowing out in 2001.
That's the last from me. All I can say is that it always has been a pleasure.
Murray Walker will be remembered for his talent, enthusiasm and charisma, and for being one of the great commentators of any era in any sport.
Murray Walker, who's died aged 97. And that is it. The weather forecast is next, but from all of us here on the Weekend News team, thanks for watching and good night.
Not everywhere will be cold today. Some places will be warm and toasty. Heinz no added sugar beans sponsors ITV National Weather.
Hello again, very good evening to you. I hope you had a lovely start to the weekend. It certainly has been a very unsettled Saturday so far, but by the time we get to the end of the night, most of today's showers will have died away. Just a few hanging on, mostly across northwestern areas. It's less cold than last night, but still away from the towns and cities, perhaps low enough for a touch of frost in places. So tomorrow, as we start the day, of course, tomorrow is Mothering Sunday. We are expecting to see a fairly bright start across the bulk of England and Wales, but all the time a rain-bearing Atlantic frontal system slides in from the northwest, giving thickening cloud and some fairly heavy rain at times. Now, there is some uncertainty as to how much this is going to fragment as it travels south and eastwards, but certainly we can expect rain and also increased cloud amounts during the second half of the day. Sunny spells and showers tucking in behind. Jumping ahead to Monday, well, we start a brand new week on a dry but cloudy note for most. Rain arrives into western parts later in the day. That's it from me. Good night. Sleep well.
Heinz Beans sponsors ITV National Weather.